For ONCOR distribution work within UnitsPro, the preferred method of obtaining data is through a job card, or that job card has been created such that it is a selectable PDF. You can test to make sure it's selectable to see if you're able to select this data individually. This means that it's not been scanned in, and we can go ahead and pull this data back out. So what we do with this, then UnitsPro, is in our design transaction where we have our locations and individual details, we can import those types of files by selecting them. We'll pick a mid-sized project here and go ahead and process this. So it's parsing through that PDF document that we just had open, pulling out the information and organizing it such that it can be used within UnitsPro. First step is to go through and take a look at all the locations. And you note that it gives us some very interesting information here, where we can see that the designers have failed to put in the span links. This is going to cause us a problem when we go to price this job, because obviously from point 2 to point 8, the length is not 0. But we'll deal with that later. We're satisfied with these locations. We can exclude a location if we desire. And we'll go next. And this point is going to scrub through the data again and pick up all the units associated with each location. So now we've got our locations and point information. And here's all the macro units that came in and the associated billable contractor component unit. Here's our quantities. And for our conductor, you can see that we took the quantity times the span length and multiplied this out already for the user. So we go next. We're actually going ahead and bring this data into UnitsPro, and it shows that we added 57 locations and 288 individual unit details. So we'll close this. And here's our data, our location data, and then the work at each location is brought in. You can see this is predominantly a removal job, but it does have some installs. And if we're satisfied with this, we'll go ahead and begin our design, which now brings in the pricing. And we can see that this job here is initially estimated to take 184 man hours with a potential revenue of $17,242. So in just a matter of seconds, if you have this selectable PDF, you can go ahead and add this information to UnitsPro. For the Wilbrose demonstration, got a little bit of a curveball here, because this is not a selectable PDF. This is a scanned document. So when I click on this, you can see I can't select on anything. I can go through and use our tools and OCR this, but with all the writing on here, it gets pretty messy. So we just went ahead and did a brute force on this job here. So I went through and manually entered all the location data. And we did this with some tools here about job locations. So we went through and added all the job information or job location information first. And then once that was completed, we went through and added all the details. And instead of doing it in the application on a one-by-one basis, we have this location details transaction, which allows us just to go in and pick all the units in. And as we add into this data, it validates that it's in our database and it's mapping properly. One of the things that's really important here is that using the import tool, if a spec is missing from our reference data, it gets automatically added and mapped and validated. But if you're doing this manually and you come up with something that's not in the database, you have to stop and add it so it can slow you down. The import has quite a few very nice features associated with it. So with this job already imported, we're now good to go to get our initial estimates ready for the field to validate. So you can see here we have 391.5 man hours planned, $36,459 is our initial estimate, and we can get some nice reports for this information. Reports are very configurable. We have the data queries set up in the background, so we can pull these out. So we take a look at this ONCOR distribution takeoff. It's going to mimic the job card that we got from ONCOR. It goes in and lists all the component units and the contractor component units, descriptions, what the design quantity is. That's the design quantity that was provided by ONCOR. The estimated quantity is if we make any changes before we start, and then obviously the completed quantities and the date is completed, so we can track this information. You can see at each location we have the hours just for that location to come up with this total 391. If we run this while we're in process, you'll see that we have earned hours and percent completes. So the percent complete is based on what you've done, not how long it's taken you to do that. So percent complete is earned divided by planned, whereas the productivity is earned divided by actual hours. So if you're using our time entry tool, we know the time it took you to earn what hours you've earned, and we can provide productivity information on a crew basis. So this report is pretty much mimics what ONCOR provided you with the supplemental information of the planned and earned hours and completion information. Another report that's highly useful at the beginning of the job is a good faith estimate. So here it just takes a look at these contractor units and it prices them up and it organizes by install, the removals, and the transfers to come up with the 36,459 price. So at this point we have the job ready to go, and we're going to now go through and start completing work, and we'll go through in our next video how we do that.